Hello everyone. Today's topic will be called hidden entrances, and it's very important to acknowledge this topic well if it's of interest for you. Because I have noticed in man's psychology, in certain areas where he's acknowledging his nature of being, in which he gives shape to the unknown, and he makes this unknown as human as he has made himself. The title, Hidden Entrances, suggests that you are aware of an opening to a greater sense of reality, but you're not there. So when this dynamic is found in the human mind, the way you acknowledge it is to actually step down to a simpler stage of certainty. So you see, the pilot of consciousness at times, based on the fluctuations in one reality, his attention might go suddenly to one reality a bit more than the neutrality that is observant of all. So when he goes there, he sees the experience becomes real. It's as if, gosh, if the experience is so real, God, why did I do it? But it's in a sense a mask which you do not need to wear. It's a heavy mask, though. You know, it's one of those masks that just becomes your life. So it's very important to see that what you are finding as a hidden entrance, regardless of whatever esoteric agenda or view or some secret order or whatever there is, the concept of a hidden is an idea that is engaging you. So you have certain imagery of what a hidden experience is, in which you are creating a value in which you then have a certain feeling of. So we can say that we are feeling a certain way because we are responding to something that we are aware of. So in your subtle planes, when you respond to something there, experientially, let's say, you kind of see that there's a fuzziness only to show you the clarity. When I hear the words hidden entrances, very playfully, I think of that moment where where in Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship, they were beside that door on the mountain. I don't know what the door was called, but just on that gate to the mountain. And there was a sense of mystical quality in having an elfish gate that opens through moonlight that is very interesting to man's psychology. Because a hidden entrance is a limitation that you are keeping there because you believe the external is keeping it there. Hidden entrances don't have to be an interpretation of what you cannot see, but rather an understanding that your involvement brings you the unhidden. So if you're involved in this sensitivity of dimension, how you in a sense move beyond this is by not directly being involved in it, but completely observant. So it's as if like you are first the awareness to the body in the room, then suddenly you become the awareness of the room to the person in the room. Then you suddenly become a sense of nothing. Then you have a simultaneous ability in which there is a more of a collective knowing or consciousness to choose then, through a sense of inspiration, a sense of realness between the subtler planes that you want to navigate through. Internal technologies are self-cultivated. You must cultivate it. You must bring it out. You must give it shape. You must work with your intelligence. So that moment where you're walking in the park in the morning, you're in a sense not walking alone. You're walking with your greatest ideas, your worst ideas, your images, your shapes, all that you can see and all that you can think of. And so even the thinker has dissolved because the vision is going so deep. So clarity is a very firm foundation once it remembers itself. You will see it. because it would be as if suddenly your whole engagement with physical reality just fades. Your engagement with it fades. So it's not that it suddenly changes into something else. It becomes meaningless, and in that meaninglessness, there's a meaningful view. So it's kind of like saying, if I've been looking in the mirror and I'm looking at that mirror and I've been thinking that I'm my reflection this whole time, imagine suddenly me being aware that I'm not the reflection. Whoa, it's me outside. I'm in a totally different dimension of experience, you know? So when you reach that awareness, some people do this gracefully. So they do not completely want to, they don't want to completely move away from the mirror. They're still looking at themselves in the mirror, but they're also aware that they're not the reflection. So they're here to study the reflection of man in his unknown eyes, in a sense. So reality will no longer shape you when your observance was what was keeping shape in your awareness. So your sense of self-awareness is your sense of infinity, eternity, omniscience. It is in that movement, in that step from an individual sense of awareness to a more collectively known sense of awareness, and then through that just feel the graceful movements of dawn, you know, of a new dawn. I hope that you do not try to think about things too long. And not in a way that you shouldn't think. I mean, it's not something you voluntarily or involuntarily, thoughts are there. You're aware of it. You're not the thought, okay? So you are aware of the thoughts, but your existential being, your collective knowing is not the thought. So this requires an engagement of you with your reality, with your dimension of being. And Mr.Within is suggesting it. Do it with playfulness, but with an expansive vision to just go see what is there. So there are times where I understand why patience is a virtue, but I also understand the wisdom of acting quick. So how you carry yourself is suggesting the entrance which you feel is hiding from you. It is your character that is giving you a sense of it being incomplete. Your acknowledgement and observance of your presence is never incomplete. The minute you're there, you cannot even have terminology or imagery to just shape it. It's annoying. It's like if you came to a party and we saw, for example, let's say a picture of your house somewhere, and people were like, whose house that is, and you say that's my house, and people are like, no, don't talk smack, you know, it's like, it's not your house, you don't know, you don't know anything. Imagine people say that, and you're like, no, it's my house, I know it. You see that seriousness, that like confirmation of knowing that you have within you? That is really the nectar of life. That is the state of being which is healthy for man, which is efficient for man, and is quickly presented when you're compassion to all life forms, including yourself. An existential compassion, an existential allowance. So no longer people have to be right and wrong for you, but you are very, very in a visionary type of way, very pleasantly as a leader, just observing the advancement of man. So many engineers go through this state where they want to perfect their vision and find it out, and they will not stop until they find it out, because it's like this sense of a movement within them that is carrying them. They're so motivated, so inspired. So now we need to also be inspired into engineering through ideology. In other words, seeing how ideology is affecting man, and in other words, being better communication for humankind. Be healthy communication for humankind. And that means be very, very graceful. Because that is when the hidden entrances have no reason to be hidden to you. The minute you stop chasing the butterfly, you sit down you will feel such a you will feel the butterfly land on your shoulder. Do not be lost in your view of confusion. Yes, everyone has a view of confusion. I go throughout days. It is simply how your mind engages with reality. So the story is not as significant as the storyteller. It is in a sense, but the awareness of the storyteller is of a different reality than the awareness of the character. So it's not that you're trying to shape a creator, it is that you're trying to see how the creator has shaped you. So you're trying to look through the eyes of omniscience to see how an integrated intelligence is present. The design of man's consciousness must be one that is always aligned with nature. So if you feel you have done something wrong, go in nature. Go by the beach, go look at landscape, go look at nature. Go to Gaia and simply learn from the wisdom of how the trees and the leaf, regardless, are not avoiding it. For example, some people might feel they're avoiding scenarios in life, but you look at a tree and the leaf, regardless of whatever it feels, when it's time, it will crumble. So that means go acknowledge it and be authentic and navigate through your experiences with an existential comfort that you do not just see the beauty in the Dalai Lama's eyes, but you see that man is more than man when he's living for all men. And he's living for all existence. Hidden entrances melt in your presence. You go somewhere and it cannot be hidden. It cannot be of a reality that it's as if your knowing is beyond it. It's as if you know, if you have plans, you know what you're doing tonight. So you're not worried if someone's like, oh, you're gonna miss out. You're like, buddy, I have something I'm doing here. You know. So so your mind simply sees that it is a sense of free will, but there are many senses of self that one considers. Your identities sometimes are expressions and births from many coagulations of different segments of time. So it's as if like your one segment of your sense of space and time is considering this segment of your space and time, because they're very deep questions. And so when I speak, I am speaking to the advanced communicator within. You will notice that life moves in the way life does. So acknowledge this. Also acknowledge the fact that just as how wonderfully you were born, you are also wonderfully going to transition from this sense of awareness, in this sense of space and time. Now, inside your mind, in regards to what I was saying, it's as if, like, when you see that you have a memory of your sense of space and time in another, let's say, for example, in your childhood, you know, and you have a memory of what you did yesterday, of the space and time, how the room felt, it's as if in your mind, through that emptiness, when you're like, I'm not thinking about anything, you know, you see that in that emptiness, there are many senses of space and time considered senses of self, just moving and flowing, and they are flowing only because they are connected. So you see, the nature of abstraction is integrated. Your abstraction, the man's mind, man's creative sparks are creative and are new sparks because simply his mind is chaotically going into abstraction. So when I speak to you, there's no physical limitation, because in the subtler plane of my experience, the experience is real. So you realize that you can also receive real experience from other senses of space and time, which are simultaneously present with where you are now. Because whatever you do, you are always moving from a sense of now. Regardless of what form you step into, regardless of what station you find yourself as consciousness, you are always now. So now is where your greatest ability is found. So that moment where you're nervous for the great speech, that moment where you think that you're not ready but you need to act, that moment where you're about to jump from perhaps the highest peak known to man, you will see that you will confront everything, and your fear will make you call everyone you know from your memory. Just bring out every idea, and in an instant you will just say, close your eyes, and you will trust life. You will trust the unknown. You will love life in such a way where the mystic was always the lover of the unknown, and through eyes that are being aware of the light that they are, you let go and you release, and you are in such profundity. So, in a sense, guys, it is a sense of trusting life to then realizing in your cultivation of trusting others and helping others and being a very extremely kind person beyond conception. You know, you're actually moving towards a sense of being that is beyond the limitations of your current reality. Because what you consider to be your current reality is simply what you're paying attention to now. There are many senses of abstractions of space and time. It's simply like that realm is open. In other words, the thought that I am aware of, which I'm considering to be me, has in that subtler plane an ability to just jump into chaos, to be anything, to be torn apart, to feel danger, to feel whatever, right? So it's as if we are becoming a greater existential communication in which energy is spiraling back into its own greater pattern. It's as if one aspect of illusion dissolves into the clarity that was always there. And it is from there that hidden entrances were simply the shapes of the many doors within you that you had not opened, the observance that you had not given yourself of who you really are. And you will see, once you have acknowledged within, then the games of your reality are handled with a greater sense of collective intelligence. So what that means is that once you cultivate this internal trust in life, any sense of hidden entrance, so you suddenly get a multidimensional view because you know the multidimensionality is the nature of this collective self-awareness that is transparently present. And it is through the grace of a greater view that man passes into his greater self. Let yourself be honest, for authenticity was the clarity of your destination. Much blessings and namaste.